In today's video, I am going to go over some products that I received in PR from Sigma and also from True Botanicals. Now, I do want to preface this by saying PR is different than a sponsored video. This is not sponsored in any way. When somebody sends products in PR, they're not asking for anything in return. My definition of a sponsored video is if they send it to you and say, we will give this to you in exchange for a video. Whether they pay you for it or not, they have actually sent you the products in exchange for a video. But when they just send the products for you to try and to say, hey, are you interested in testing out some of our products? I consider that PR. So that's what we're going over today. But in addition, this is primarily a just catching up video. Hey everyone, this is Lisa. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Lisa Monique Beauty, where we cover all things beauty and lifestyle for the over 50 woman. So I have been kind of hit or miss on Instagram and YouTube for the last month because I have been traveling so much. I left my home September 18th. What is it now? It's like the 15th of October, so about a month ago, to drive cross country to visit my daughter in Nashville and then head down to Florida for the winter. I decided not to rent my condo out at all for the winter. I want to live in Florida the entire winter and then just fly back to Arizona for trips and to visit my husband and base out of Florida instead of basing out of Arizona and just going to Florida. So it's kind of a mental shift on where your stuff is. And so that's what I'm doing right now. I do have a very annoying tick in my eye. I don't know if you can see it, but every now and then I feel my eye just do this little weird twitchy thing. So we'll see how that works. So when I left Arizona, I kind of packed up my car for being gone most of the winter. Last fall, it was very warm in Florida the entire month, and I brought all warm clothes like sweaters, sweatshirts, long pants. So this time I brought a few, but I thought, well, I'll just swap out at the end of October. But it's kind of chilly here now, so I was kind of feeling like, oh my goodness, I didn't bring the right clothes. I never bring the right clothes. So I purchased a bunch of new clothes. This is from the Cabby outlet. I used to sell Cabby in 2005, so when it was a brand new company. It's one of those multi-level marketing companies, but I still love the quality of Cabby clothes. Most of the tops you see in my YouTube videos are old Cabby clothes because they just wear forever and look good forever. Okay, first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to put on this True Botanicals Broad Spectrum Sunscreen. It's called their Everyday Tint. And they sent me two shades. Oh, this is the number 9. I probably need the number 10. Let me go grab the number 10 shade. Okay, I'm back with my number 10 shade of the Everyday Skin Tint. It was in my DOP kit because I took it with me to Virginia. Story of my life since I've been here in Florida. I cannot find anything, and I will tell you why, because I keep leaving. But anyway, I want to show you this. This was sent to me. I absolutely love this. I have been wearing this all the time. It is their Everyday Skin Tint. I think Brooke Shields is their official spokesperson. But I love this because it provides a lot of coverage. It is an SPF of 30. And I think it's 19% zinc oxide, 18% zinc oxide. So it is really good sun protection, and it blends in really easy. Oh, they did send me a brush. Let me use their brush. They sent me this brush. It's kind of interesting. Can you see? It's got like a deep hole in here, and it's pretty dense though. So, but the coverage is beautiful. The finish is beautiful. And it looks slightly glowy right now, but it doesn't mattify, but it doesn't stay as glowy as some of my other favorite tinted sunscreens. So I love this. I have been wearing it since I got it as my primary foundation sunscreen base. And I just think it is a beautiful, natural coverage. But it is coverage, so it is really good sunscreen and really good coverage. And when it dries down in just a couple of minutes, it's not going to give you that kind of sunscreen feel. Like all of these other tinted moisturizers and products, they feel like sunscreen on my face. They sit down like sunscreen on my face, and they're not greasy, but they're very glowy, and it's just a different finish, and I'm always powdering it down. The True Botanicals, I don't have to powder down, but I will wear this. I will put this on and go directly to the beach. I will also put it on and run around errands, all day and feel like I get good protection. So I'm not going to stop and talk about all of these Sigma products as I'm going through them, because then I will never get through my little what I've been doing life update. So I will make sure everything is listed down in the description box below. If you are on your phone, after my title, there's a little V. You click on that V and it gives you a drop down, and then it'll have like 2 or 3 lines and it'll say see more, and you click on that and it will list all of the products on the phone. On the computer, it's easier to find your description box, and I think it will have like 1 or 2 lines just under the video, and then it will say see more, and you click on that and you will get all the products below. So I will make sure I list everything and all the shades below. Where can you buy Sigma? You can buy Sigma at Sigma Beauty online and also at Target online. And I really like the fact you can buy it at Target online, because if you purchase something and are not happy with the shade, you can just take it to your local Target with a receipt and return it. So you don't have to mail it back, which is something I don't like to do. So we drove cross country because my husband had a meeting for Southwest. It was kind of like their employee meeting, their annual meeting, and it was in Nashville. So he wanted to go. And of course, my youngest daughter, had moved to Nashville in May. And so we were like, okay, we'll drive to Nashville, visit with Katie. My husband could go to the meeting, and then he would fly home and I would drive down to Florida. He hit the hugest raccoon while he was driving. I think we were in Oklahoma. And he said it was the size of a dog. And, we heard the thump. He was going like 80 miles an hour with cruise control. And you hear this big thump. But everything seemed to be working with the car. So we just kept driving and didn't really think anything of it. Ooh, this is pretty. This is the blush in Cor de Rosa. So the next morning we get up and I'm driving. So we stop at McDonald's because I have to get my Egg McMuffin. If you've watched me, you know that's my travel cross country meal of choice, and I'm so disappointed you can't get them 24/7 anymore, and you only can get them for breakfast. So we stop at McDonald's to get my breakfast, and I'm driving. I back out, and there's like this plastic undercarriage kind of cover, and I was like, huh, is that from my car? Because I don't remember seeing it when I pulled in. So we get out, and we don't know, so we just toss it in the back seat of the car. Then we're getting gas a little bit later, and I go in to the travel center. I come back out, and there's this black plastic square thing in front of the car. And I'm like, is that from my car? I don't know. We just throw it in the back seat. Then then the cruise control stops working. We get this error message saying the collision avoidance system isn't working. The camera needs to be calibrated. See your dealer. Warning, 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 warning. And we're like, okay. So we obviously messed something up when we hit that giant raccoon. So I was like, well, we don't really need cruise control to continue on. I'll just wait till I get back to Florida and take it into the dealer. This is a primer, an eyeshadow base primer. I like that it's a stick. Then I'm driving. We're looking at areas. So here's the big thing. I love Tennessee so much. After visiting my daughter, I've probably been there a couple times a month since she's moved there, even before she moved there, because we were apartment shopping, and then we decided to buy a small condo for her to live in. And so I've been there a lot. but I'm not that familiar with the areas. I knew where she wanted to live, which was in more towards the downtown area. And so we decided we're going to just drive around the suburbs of Tennessee. So I think we were going to go up to Hendersonville and Gallatin and around to Lebanon, Mount Juliet, and just circle those areas. So we're driving to Hendersonville, and I just hear something dragging underneath my car. And I was like, oh my goodness, something else is about to fall off on the car, and I'm afraid it's going to hit a car behind me. So I'm going like 10 miles below the speed limit, probably driving everyone crazy. And we pull off the first exit that looks like it would, had some stuff in it. And it was, and then we found a Pep Boys or a, what do you call it? Not Pep Boys, AutoZone, something like that. Anyway, we found one of those, and my husband goes in, and sure enough, the another black cover is falling off, but the AutoZone employee kind of helped him and, sold him the clips to put under, and he happened to have some big mallet thing in his own vehicle that we could use to put everything up. All right, I'm going to just show you these two different eyeshadow palettes. I got this mini Ambiance. They have a double row one on the Target website, but this is a single row one. And then also this is the eyeshadow palette in Spicy. And they have a lot of these 9 palette shades on Target.com. But I think I'm going to use the Ambiance palette. Okay, so we get the bottom piece hooked back up or attached back to the car. No problem. It's fine to drive, except that 7-hour drive back to Florida, there's no cruise control. And so when you're going through these small towns, you want to be able to set cruise control because you're so paranoid about, or at least I'm so paranoid about being lead-footed, because I tend to be lead-footed. And so I just really, as much as I love to drive, I prefer driving cross-country by myself, but only when you have cruise control. So it was terrible. So I just crossed into the Florida line, so 5 hours, and my daughter calls me and she said, hey, there's a gray backpack in the back seat. And I'm like, so I left at 4 in the morning, take my husband to the airport. We had put everything in Katie's car because I had to park my car. I couldn't park in her apartment complex. And so he had transferred everything to my car while I was packing a cooler, and he left my gray backpack, which had my laptop and my camera. So I had to have it. But I'm not going to turn around and drive 5 hours back up and then another 7 hours down with no cruise control. So I was like, well, let's see how much it costs to ship it. $689 to FedEx that backpack to overnight it from Nashville to the Panhandle of Florida, and another $80 for insurance. So that was even before insurance. So I was like, oh my goodness, it's going to be like $900 to FedEx this backpack to me. So I ended up buying a ticket. I had points. I bought a ticket back to Nashville to pick it up, and there's a morning nonstop, and then there's an evening nonstop back. So I was going to be there for 6 hours, and my daughter picked me up. We went to her place, we went to lunch, we went food shopping, we did all those things, and then I flew back that night. So I was supposed to be in Florida for a week, from a Monday, and then I was leaving Saturday. But then I got in Monday night, and then Wednesday I was gone again. So I was only in Florida for Tuesday, all of Tuesday, and then I was there for Thursday, Friday. And then I had to leave again that weekend because I mentioned this. I had a memorial service, so this was definitely unexpected. One of my daughter's best friends from college got in a small plane crash. He was trying to get his private pilot's license, and he had a midair collision, and so it was just terrible. Both he and the instructor were young, 22, 23 years old, both of them, and And then the pilot on the other one was older, not to make it any worse because he might have had family and children and grandchildren. Maybe he was in his late 60s. Anyway, you know, everybody perished. It was so terrible, so unexpected. Yeah, we really, really loved her friend. And anyways, so we, you know, flew back it was in Colorado. So we flew back into Colorado for the memorial service, and I was gone for a few days. Came back on a Monday, and then I was flying out of town again on Thursday to visit my sister in Virginia. When I originally bought my tickets for Virginia, I thought I was going to be in Florida mid-September. So to go to Virginia the first weekend in October, I thought I was going to be settled, but I wasn't settled. I was just, you know, coming and going. And then while I was in Virginia, my girlfriend was coming down from Memphis with her 2 daughters, and they were going to stay here. So I had to pack everything up in my guest room. And then we were overlapping. So I was coming back from Virginia on a Monday, and they were here until this past Thursday, which was just 2 days ago. So I can't find anything. I haven't really unpacked. I haven't really settled, and it's been almost a month. And yeah, so what has really fallen by the wayside is any sort of YouTube or Instagram. I was doing Instagram reels every single day, and I haven't done one in a month. Because I just can't get it together. So, all right, I'm really liking these shades. I am using Sigma brushes. Oh, let me just tell you a little about Sigma, the brand Sigma, if you haven't heard about them. So I think they started maybe 2009, you know, a small company out of Minnesota. And when I first started being interested in makeup, so maybe 5 years ago, back before everybody had a brush line, I was told the brushes to get were MAC or Sigma. So Sigma has a lot of specialty brushes. I like my absolute favorite one that I've been using forever. I have a couple of them. Is their lip brush, which is their L05 brush, because it's a little bit bigger. I mean, you could really even use this, you know, as an eyeliner or a smudge brush. But I like it because it covers my lips faster, and it really defines around the edges. Yeah, so this is the Lip L05, and it is a travel brush. So it comes with a little lid. So I have a couple of these. Love them. But I am using this one is a diffused crease brush as a blender brush. Super soft. And you can see it is blending really well. And then I have this other blending brush. It's smaller. It's really good for the hooded eyes, but it's putting the color precisely down in the crease. And then blending it out with the blender brush. You can see these eyeshadows are blending beautifully. So I've been here. Today is a Saturday. My husband is coming Tuesday, which I love when my husband comes, but that means, you know, my stuff is everywhere in the primary bedroom, so he has to put his stuff out here in the guest room. I'm in the guest room now. I kind of flipped things around. I don't know. I haven't really set things up the way I normally set up when I'm in Florida. But I can't really set up because then my husband's stuff is going to be here. And of course, you know, this is his second home too, so I have to make him feel like he has his space. So he'll be here all week, and then he'll leave to go see his mom in South Carolina. She has Parkinson's, so he goes every other month for as long as he can to be supportive. And really, she needs 24/7 care, but it's really to help his sisters, who is the one watching her, the primary caregiver. Last May, the sister brought her up to the Charleston area, and she's in Charleston. And then the sister, you know, doesn't really want somebody there 24/7 in her home, so they have care from like 7 to 3, and then the sister and her youngest child, who's still in high school, she has 4 children, but her youngest is still in high school, you know, they're the primary caregiver. So it's really tough. We really appreciate everything she's doing. My husband does try and go every other month, and, you know, you always wonder, is it worse because it's that personality that loves to nurture and make sure, you know, you have things. So is it more work when they show up, because then they feel like they have to clean, they have to get the guest room ready, they have to, you know, do all this stuff? I don't know. Many of us have aging parents, or, you know, are reaching the age where our children, you know, when we need help from our children, it's, you know, it's tough. I think you have to experience it to see what's best for your family. Okay, and then I'm just going to use my finger right here. Oh, this is so pretty. Okay, this Ambiance palette is gorgeous. Okay, I'm using the Arches and Halo microblading brow pen, and I don't need it very much because my brow serum is kicking in. So I mentioned my brow serum a lot, and people ask what I use. I use the Rodan & Fields, their Lash Boost. It's for my lashes, but I also put it on my brows. And my daughters have used it for years. And it has that one ingredient that a lot of people don't like to use because it can darken your eyelids. It can make your eyes dry. It has some side effects. So you have to watch, make sure you don't have any of those side effects. It doesn't affect me. I did notice a little bit of darkening on the eyelids, but I would rather have thicker eyelashes and, you know, just cover up that little bit of darkening, you know, versus having very sparse eyelashes and needing to wear fake lashes if I want to have that fuller look. Okay. But my daughters, my Rodan & Fields gal, was out of pocket this winter, and normally I give my daughters a fresh tube of the lash serum for Christmas because it is pricey. It's very pricey. It's like $150. Of course, my Rodan & Fields gal gave me a discount, and I think sometimes you can find it like on Amazon for a little bit less. But I tried, since she wasn't available to get in time for Christmas, I tried at Nordstrom's. They had the Revitalash, and so I bought them a tube of that because it's the same ingredient, same active ingredient, and they say it's fine. I mean, like, a lot of times when I stop using my lash serum and brow serum, you know, I'll start seeing little hairs falling out because once you stop using it, the hairs that stayed in, because it kind of increases or lengthens the growth cycle before they all fall out, then they all start falling out again and you revert back to the way you were before. But they did not notice any fallout or changes, and their lashes have just stayed really long and full and thick. And again, my brows have stayed thick. I use just a teeny bit. So I put a little bit, like a dot here and a dot here, and then I kind of rub it back and forth, and then I do the same with my brows. It does make a little bit more hair grow right here, so I actually have to shave this area a little bit more. It makes my bottom lashes grow longer, so it does move around. Yeah, and so like even this area, which I was so excited, certain times I don't have to pluck as much, then all of a sudden I'm plucking more. So yeah, you just have to decide, you know, if it's worth it for you to use a really strong lash serum. But it is for me, and I like having my fuller brows. All right, so far so good. I'm really enjoying everything I received. I got their Sinuosity lash. So it's a rubber brush. Oh, I forgot to put eyeliner on, and I just put mascara on my bottom lash. That's what happens when I'm talking. Okay, let's see what we have here for lips. I have a Renew lip oil and then a liquid lipstick. So I'm not sure which one I want to use. I'm going to use a lip oil because I like lip oils. Very fat. like this shade. I like very natural, neutral shades. Okay, I like this. It's a very nude look. Oh, you know what I can do? I can use one of their Sigma detail brushes. This is the winged liner. Look how tiny this is. And I can use it with the darkest shade and do a powder liner. Ooh, perfect. These are nice, really nicely pigmented. So, what else have I been doing? Well, I'll tell you what I have not been doing. I have not been working on my second YouTube channel that was supposed to be for like coaching and how to start your YouTube channel. Because every time I would sit down to script it, I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it, so I don't think I'm going to do it. It's not, you've got to be passionate about something. You have to love it. If you're going to start your YouTube channel, it can't be work, right? So like there can be periods where it's work, where you don't feel like doing it because you just get a little burnout. But overall, you have to love doing it. And I love making these makeup videos, but I could not motivate. 6 months, could not write a single episode for my other channel. So it made me realize it's not going to be something I'm going to keep up. It's not going to work for me. So my YouTube Simplified channel, YT Simplified, it's just not going to happen. So, but if you have questions, if you're starting your channel, feel free to email me, DM me, find me on Instagram. You can DM me there. I do still read all my comments, all of my DMs, all my emails, just me. I do that myself. I did find an editor, and I don't send everything to her. I'm not going to send this one to her, but she has been really helpful when I was traveling. I just sent her it and, watched it back, made 1 or 2 quick corrections, and it's done. But the other thing, so we're looking for a place in Tennessee. If I had my way, my house in Phoenix would be on the market tomorrow, and we would be in Tennessee. Now, why don't we just move right away? Especially because I've never been a Phoenix fan, lived there for 20 years. Last place I wanted to live, it's where I still am. It's because my husband loves Phoenix. Did I tell you how much he loves Phoenix? He loves the heat. He plays tennis at 10 a.m., 4 p.m., whatever, middle of the day in July. And yeah, it just doesn't bother him. And he has a lot of friends in Phoenix. My friends were my kids' friends' parents. And then they were also, I met a lot of them through photography. But I just don't have as many friends as he does. He's had friends. He plays tennis. He plays on a couple tennis leagues. And some of those he's been playing off and on as we just keep moving to Phoenix and leaving. And he's lived in Phoenix 3 times over the past 30 years. So he has some friends that are for 30 years. And he sees them weekly. And so it's a lot harder for him. And I get that. But I've been there for 20 years. Our kids, none of them want to stay in Phoenix. My oldest, of course, is still in Phoenix in training, flight training. So she's in what they call the Southwest 225 program, where they hire you to be a Southwest Airlines pilot. They start training you from zero experience. My daughter had 1 lesson before she started in the program. August 2021, she has completed the program, and now the school rehires you to teach the incoming students so you can build up your hours. So she has just started this month as an instructor. In fact, I don't even know if she's had her first student yet. She might still be in the in-house training portion of that. But she will be instructing until she gets her hours, and then she'll go to corporate. And Southwest has done a couple of partnerships with a couple of corporate jet companies, as well as like SkyWest and some of the regional carriers. You have to instruct longer to get to SkyWest. So I think she'll leave as soon as she can to go to corporate so she can do something different. And then eventually, when you have the required number of hours to go commercial, then she is already hired by Southwest. So that's her plan. Of course, that's who my husband works for, so he is like thrilled. But he has mandatory retirement in 6 years, and so we're hoping that they might have 1 or 2 years where they could potentially be on a flight together as a captain and first officer, and then yeah. So he's based out of LA right now because he likes to fly out of Hawaii, but then he usually is based out of Phoenix. You can't be based out of Nashville. That's the issue with why we're not rushing to Tennessee right away. So he would have to commute, which can add an extra day before or after to get to that next city to start your flight. And he likes to fly nights, so sometimes if he's supposed to land at 11 but doesn't land till 1 or 2 in the morning, then he's going to have to get a hotel. He's not going to be able to get home. So I think we're going to have him commute, but I'm not sure, 6 years of commuting is a long time. So I don't know. My thing is if we get to Nashville within the next 2 years and he does 4 years of commuting, that's kind of what I'm thinking. He has to kind of just say, okay, yes, that's a good plan, and then I'm going to make it go. But I've already looked at houses. I've already have a realtor in Tennessee. She's sending me things. I've already found my dream home 1,000,000 times, but we're not ready. We've got to sell the Phoenix house. We don't want to get another mortgage, so we have to sell the Phoenix house before we really start seriously looking in Tennessee. So that's the plan. That's what we're doing. And this is a look that I got from the Sigma makeup. Again, available at Target online at sigmabeauty.com, and then also the tinted sunscreen is from True Botanicals, and you can see it's just a beautiful, beautiful finish. All right, that's my life update. I hope you enjoyed this long video, but let me know what's going on in your life. I'm going to try and get back on schedule planning my videos in the next month, but I am traveling still a lot and having company. Yeah, as always, I sure appreciate you watching this. Thank you so much for being here, and we will see you next time.